our wonderful, powerful facilitator, all the way from India. Wow, is a life coach. She has been a blessing to me. Is a coach that has really changing lives of many there through life coaching, right? And the things that he is teaching, I tell you, I can guarantee you that they are life changing. And for you to be here tonight, you will never, ever be the same again. Yeah, because there will be a transformation. I know what he carries. Wow, he is a doctor and he just change his thought of now. These people, I want to transform their lives, to turn them and to change their mindset. Okay, so you are welcome. You are welcome, our facilitator, all the way from India, Dr. Pradyam Singh. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Martha, and thank you so much to all my beautiful friends who've joined in from the continent of Africa. I'm talking of continents because I'm based out of here in Asia, and there you are in Africa, and that's what technology does to us. So kudos to all of you who've joined in at this moment today, taking out some time for your personal development and ensuring that you invest these 1.5 to 2 hours and become a better version of your own self. So quickly write it down in the chat box. How are you feeling today? What is the energy level like? How are you feeling? Someone has welcomed me. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with all of you. Someone's writing, okay, good. Monica is feeling good. How about others? How are you feeling? Could be just an off day, so you're feeling okay, all right. Or you can be feeling fantastic. You can be feeling great. You can be feeling a bit tired, but still positive and excited about the next 1.5 hours. Or you could simply be feeling sleepy. Write it down in the chat box. How are you feeling? A lot of people welcoming me. Thank you so much. I'm feeling excited, writes Michelle and Arabella. That's great. All right, wonderful. So suddenly the chat box has started buzzing, which is a great sign. That means we are already on the same page. Sarah is writing, feeling excited and tired. That's great to know, Sarah. And I'd love to thank the coordinator for this event from Royalty Business Development Training, Martha, my good friend, who's taken the pains to organize this, who's connected all of you with me, and we've come together today to discuss a little bit about personal development, a little bit about goal setting and emotional intelligence. So before we start, of course, I've thanked Martha for that wonderful introduction that I've received. But frankly speaking, I don't consider myself worthy of that great an introduction. So simply put, I am fundamentally a modern medicine practitioner. I am a doctor by profession turned life coach, and I'm working in both the fields as a medical practitioner as well as a life coach, and trying to couple these two modalities to see how people can benefit from the health sciences as well as the psychology and related studies that I have done. So I'm based out of India, as I've told you, and I'm working as a life and mindset transformation coach over here. And in the next 1 hour, we'll be looking at certain points which can catapult your success in a great way. So if you are ready, if and if only you are ready, write it down in the chat box, BIO. Write down, bring it on. BIO, which is the short form of bring it on. Write down, quickly write it down in the chat box, BIO, which means you are ready to go. Okay, so I've received a few BIOs, which is a signal for me that people are excited, people are upbeat, and we are good to go. That is phenomenal. So at the very onset, what do you think is personal development and the value or importance of personal development in one's life? I'd love for you, any one of you, to unmute and speak if that's possible. Otherwise, you can write it down in the chat box quickly in a word or two as to what personal development means to you, because this is the very foundation of how we can master success. This is the very foundation upon which we can build a castle or a fortress of strong success in life, in business, in relationships, and any area of life that you can think of. Okay, I'm still waiting for your replies. BIO is done, Martha. I need to know what personal development means to you, or what is the significance or importance of personal development. Okay, so since I can see quite a few curious faces, let me go on with it. See, personal development is anything that you do consciously in order to upgrade yourself to the next level of living. Let's say you are currently at this level of living. Now, for you to go from this current state to this desired state, you need to do something. And that effort is something that we call as personal development, the quest for personal development. Now, it could be done through million different ways. It could simply be working upon your hard skills, working upon your soft skills, working upon your mindset, working upon your emotional skill set, your emotional intelligence, and so on and so forth. But essentially, anything that you consciously do in order to improve your standard of living, upgrade your standard of living to the next level, is something that we generally refer to as personal development. Now, how are we going to do personal development in a span of 40 to 45 minutes? You can ask. Yes, that's a very valid question. So today, for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of induction into this personality development or personal development field, what we'll be doing is to stick to our theme for the day. We'll be discussing certain keys to success. We'll be discussing how we can master success by the power of goal setting. This is what our agenda and theme for discussion today is. Now, what I want from you is a promise that you will be lively and interactive. I don't want this to be a webinar. I want this to be a workshop so that together we can craft a plan for you. Together, we can co-create an action plan that will not just help you to achieve your targets faster, but will also help you empower others around you through this process to become a better version of their own self. So if you are making this promise to me, write down in the chat box, promise. Write down in the chat box, promise, if you are making this promise that you are ready to play full on today. If you are ready to play full on, write down in the chat box, promise. Okay, so we have started receiving lots of promises. That's a great start to the session, guys. Phenomenal. Now, friends, now that you've made this promise, you have to stick to what I say for the next 45 minutes. No distractions. Switch off the phones if you have them by your side. If you are joining through a phone yourself, please ensure the phone is on do not disturb mode, the DND mode, so that it doesn't ring and distracts you. If you still haven't got your pen and notepad, quickly go and grab a piece of paper or a notepad and your favorite pen for the session. You'll be doing a lot of work today, and I ensure it's going to be fun. So once all this is settled, in the reaction tab, give me a thumbs up and we'll be good to go. Lots of promises. That's great. And we have started receiving thumbs up as well. That's phenomenal to know. So to all my friends based out of Africa, here we begin our training based on the keys of success, mastering success through goal setting. And the first point that I'd love to discuss today is about personal development. Now, I gave you a very vague and simplistic definition of what personal development is. But essentially, if you look at it, if you dissect it, personal development is a journey from self awareness to self improvement to self actualization. Now, what does this mean? See, the first stage of personal development is self awareness. As a human being, as a person, you should be aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your opportunities and threats are. Once you have an insight about what and who you really are, this is the starting point of your journey to become your greatest version. This is the start to your personal development journey. So the first step or the first stage is known as self awareness. The next stage is probably the longest part, that is self improvement. Self improvement simply refers to the long journey, all that we do in order to upgrade ourselves, in order to upskill ourselves, in order to enhance our capabilities from this current level to our desired level of living. And as a result of this self awareness and the self improvement, what comes as a byproduct is something that I call as self-actualization. So you see, it is a sequential journey. However, what we are focusing on is the second part. Now that you are here in this workshop today is a sign clear enough that you have the self-awareness that I need to improve. Now, what we need to do is simply ensure that we fast track ourselves on that path of self improvement. And how do we do that? At the very onset, the thing that I want to share with you is about emotional intelligence. You see, no matter what you do in life, no matter where you currently are poised in this moment, in this part of your life, you can improve. And this is a possibility that every human being carries within himself. Write down in the chat box, agree if you agree to my point that every one of us can improve and become better than how we are right now. Write down in the chat box, agree if you agree to the statement that no matter where we are in our journey, this moment, no matter how we have the possibility to become better the very next moment. Okay, so the chat box is buzzing with a lot of agreements, which is great to know. Now, this is precisely why I shared you. You see, if you have the self awareness that I can definitely create a better future, I can create an improved version of my own self, the change is going to be very simple. It's not going to be easy, mind you. There's a difference between simple and easy. It's not going to be easy. No change in life is easy, but it is going to be simple. You just have to methodically do certain things, this, and it will happen. Not overnight. Yes, it's a journey, but for sure, a great change is around the corner. So, how I wanted to share and start today's session was with an introduction to emotional intelligence. Now, you can ask, all this is fine, doctor, but why emotional intelligence? We are here to talk about success, right? And I'll tell you why. Because EQ precedes IQ in terms of handling success. Anyone can become an overnight wonder, anyone can achieve overnight success. But to reach on top is one thing, and to continue to remain on top is another thing. And to remain on top, you don't need too much of IQ. You need too much of this thing, the heart set, what Daniel Goleman aptly termed as emotional intelligence. So we'll quickly learn a little about emotional intelligence. I'll tell you why. Because for any success to be desired or crafted, we need to have the right fundamentals and foundations in place. And emotional intelligence effectively gives you the tools and awareness and insights to have that foundations right in place. So write down on the chat box BIO once again if you are ready to learn about emotional intelligence and its famous model by the famous author Daniel Goleman. Write down in the chat box BIO if you think, yes, I'm ready to learn about emotional intelligence. All right, so Sarah has started the series of BIOs that I'm receiving in the chat box. Wonderful to note that. Linus writes, ready. Okay, so here we go. Now I want you to make a 2 by 2 column, a 2 by 2 box in your notepad or paper or journal, whatever you have with you. Make a box, 4 boxes, okay, a 2 by 2 box. And on top of that box, above one column, write self, and on the second column, write others. On one, write self, and on another, write others. So you have 4 boxes. These 4 boxes, one, two, three, four, 4 boxes. Above those boxes, on the first column, you write self, and on the other, you write others. On the second column, above that, you write others. Similarly, on the y-axis. So what you've written is on the x-axis. On the y-axis, the vertically downward plane, you write down above. On the first, near the first row, you write down awareness, and in the second row write down management. So we have effectively made a 2 by 2 square, and I tell you why. we are going to learn the model, the most simplistic possible manner of model of emotional intelligence. How we are going to do this is we have made a 2 by 2 box. On the x-axis, above the boxes, we have written, above the first column, we have written self, and above the second column, we've written others. Similarly, on the y-axis, that is the vertical plane, beside the first row, we have written awareness, and beside the second row, we have written management. Now, if any one of you is daring enough, I dare you, please switch on your camera and show what you have made and written to all of us present here in the meeting. This will also give me a fair bit of idea as to how much you are able to follow me. So if any one of you who's made this, please switch on your camera, your back camera preferably, if you don't want to show your face. Switch on your back camera, zoom in on what you have made, the 2 by 2 square box, as well as the titles, the 4 words that I have made you write on the X and Y axis respectively. Any one of you can volunteer. This will give me a fair bit of idea as to how much are you able to follow me, and also give me a fair bit of idea as to how committed any one of you is in this journey to become their own best version. Because, hang on, let me tell you very frankly and very honestly, if you don't have the confidence to show up for your own self in a closed group meeting of like-minded people like these, trust me, when you go out into the actual world, it will be very tough and very difficult for you. So here is a safe space. Here is a place where no one is going to judge you. And I dare you, please switch on your camera and show it to me. Let me see who's doing what. Let me see how much of it have you been able to follow, so that accordingly I can modulate my teachings for the day as well. Dinus, Sarah, Hope, Rhoda, Michelle and Arabella, Monica, Ivy, Mokanyemba, any one of you, because this is very essential. You see, emotional intelligence, as I've repeatedly told you time and again, is probably setting the right foundation in place for you to achieve massive success in life. And if you grasp this, if you are aware of this, if you learn this, trust me, achieving success and staying on top of your game is never going to be a challenge in your life. Okay, it seems no one is eager to show me your page. Fine. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll continue anyways. We have a quadrant, and we have the names of quadrant in accordance with what I have made you write on the X and Y axis respectively. Now, these 4 are the essential components of the emotional intelligence model. The model, the simplistic one that we'll be going to cover over here. What it essentially means is, see, there will be one box which is a match of self and awareness. There will be one box that is a match of self and management. Similarly, there will be one box that will be a match of others and awareness. Now, what does others awareness means? We can call this empathy, the awareness about others. So for the sake of simplicity, we call it empathy. And the last box is others management. We don't call it others management. For the sake of better comprehension, we call it relationship management. And these are the 4 critical elements of emotional intelligence. What are they? Let's look at them one by one. Number 1 is self-awareness. The awareness about your own self, your abilities, your attributes, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your opportunities, your threats, and so on and so forth. The complete insight about your own self. That is self-awareness. Number 2 is self-management. Now, once you know about your own self, once you know sufficiently about who you are, what you're doing, why you are behaving in a certain way, and so on and so forth, what is the use of this information? So we are putting that information to use by amicably managing our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors, our skill set, and so on and so forth. All these things that encompass who we are, that encompass our entire being. We try to modulate it in such a way which is needed for our success and desirable for the outcome that we have planned to achieve. So the first step was about having the awareness about the self. The second step was about having the management of your own self in accordance with whatever awareness you have for your own self. A management which is suited to the kind of outcome you want to achieve. Now, till this was a part which is solely dedicated to your own self, your own personality. The next two aspects are about our dealing with the world, are dealing with other people. So what was the third one? The third one is called others awareness. And if we were to give this one term, we call it empathy. Write down in the chat box if you are so far so clear with whatever I've discussed in this emotional intelligence model. We've discussed about self-awareness, then we discussed about self-management, and now we are discussing about empathy, which is basically your ability to have awareness about what others might be feeling. Write down in the chat box empathy if you have followed me and think so far so good. I'm awaiting for a lot of empathy in the chat box from you. Okay. Empathy. Empathy is the word I'm looking for. So we discussed about self-awareness. We discussed about self-management. We discussed about, we are discussing rather, about empathy. And then we will discuss about the fourth aspect. I'm awaiting for a lot of empathy from you in the chat box to know if you have followed me so far so good. Okay, who do we have in the room? How many people? Monica, Ivy, Sarah, Dinas, Hope, any one of you. And if it is not clear, so far so good. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So we were discussing about empathy. Having awareness about your own self is good. Having awareness to manage yourself amicably is very good. But if you are to achieve success in life, it is also very important to deal with people well. And how do you deal with people well? Only once you can foresee how they might be feeling, what they might be thinking. And this comes under the umbrella term of empathy, the ability to be little aware and better equipped about what others might be thinking or feeling or how they might be behaving is empathy. So this is probably the most important and wide aspect of this entire quadrant. However, we won't be delving too much into depth about this. This is a discussion for some other time, maybe. However, this is the most critical element if you were to achieve success. And I'll tell you why. Because if you are able to be aware about what the other person in front of you might be thinking, might be feeling, might be facing, you can adapt your behavior accordingly. If you adapt your behavior accordingly, not just do you come across as a very kind and considerate person, but you also show up as someone who is genuinely willing to help, as someone who's caring, and you come across as someone who's understanding. This is very important in today's world because everyone is anyway running in a rat trap. We are all caught in a rat trap, and you'd agree to that, right? We are all running a rat race. In this rat race, if someone is considerate enough to think about your own feelings, how you might be feeling, and try to make you comfortable in your own skin, don't you think you will be sold to that person for life? If you are sold to that person for life, no matter what he does, no matter how he does it, what he says, you will blindly follow him. And this is why I say empathy and mastering the skills of empathy are very essential in today's world, and more so in the business arena for your business success. And lastly, once you have that awareness about what other people might be thinking, amicably modulating your behavior in accordance with the insights that you have is something that we call as relationship management. Now, this relationship management is another very critical element of not just your business success, but the success of your life as a whole. This relationship management could be short term, momentary, that is spontaneous, and long term. Either which ways, it is essential that you develop your empathetic skills, which will help you behave in a certain way. That behavior is essentially what is the foundation of a strong relationship management from both sides. So I thought it was very essential for me to delve upon these topics, even if for a while it was important to touch upon this aspect of emotional intelligence, because this gives us the strong and stable foundation upon which the fortress of our success could be built. Write down in the chat box SFSG. So far, so good. Write down in the chat box SFSG if you have followed me so far and are in complete agreement to what I'm saying. SFSG. Sarah is writing FG. Sarah, far good. No, no, you should write SFSG. Linus is writing SFSG. Yes, that's how it should be. So far, so good. So now let us talk about goal setting. You must be wondering, all this is fine, doctor, but like, what is the relationship? We are talking about success. How emotional intelligence came into being. So I answered that query for you. I explained a little bit about that simplistic emotional intelligence model. A lot of SFSGs already in the chat box buzzing. That keeps me motivated. And now let us delve into the art and science of goal setting. You see, I usually take a 4-day workshop on this entire theme of goal setting. It's a very elaborate process. It's not just goal setting for one particular goal or a random target here and there. Goal setting is not goal setting per se. I usually call it life visioning process in my entire workshops and seminars, whatever I do. So to compile those 4 days into maybe 30-40 minutes is something that won't be able to do justice to the entire process. However, for this particular thing, what I've done is I've taken out the most important concepts from whatever I've learned, the most simplistic ones and the ones that can lay down the strong foundation for proper goal setting in your life. That's why I call it the art and science of goal setting. So if you are ready, write down in the chat box, bring it on, BIO, bring it on. I'm eagerly waiting at least for 10 BIOs. Only then we'll start. A lot of BIOs in the chat box. Chat box is buzzing with BIO. Now, at the very onset, let me tell you what goal setting does. See, what goal setting does is effectively it maximizes your productivity and efficiency. So you are more productive, you are more efficient. What it does is this entire process of goal setting helps you set and achieve meaningful goals in life. Now, how do we do that? I'll begin with what is now quite popular here, the WWH framework. Anything, you pick up any area of your life. You have a journal, you have a notepad, write down whatever that one target. We'll do this in the format of a workshop. So I need you to pick one area, any one area or one theme or one target, and we'll do a goal setting process for that. And if any one of you wishes to volunteer so that I can give you that hand holding right in this session, please raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to take you up as a case study so that it will be beneficial for all the others. So I want you to note down that one particular target that you have chosen for which we'll be doing this goal setting process, whatever that goal in life is. Now, this WWH framework is very simple. You need to have three things ready, just three things. What are those three things? Number one, what? What is it that you are trying to do? What is it that you are trying to achieve? And it is this one thing that we have just now written or are writing in our notepads or journals or paper that we wish to do. The first aspect is what. The next and the most important aspect is why. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? Why is it that I want to achieve so and so target? Why is it that I wish to accomplish this in my life? Why is it that this goal holds some importance in life? And there's no point writing it. Just close your eyes for a while, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take one more deep breath, keep your eyes closed. and exhale. Feel the relaxation spreading in the body with exhalation. One last time, take one deep breath, fill your lungs completely, and slowly exhale, relaxing totally with the exhalation. Keep your eyes closed and think about why you really want to do whatever is it that you have written for now, or any goal in life. Just think through it once and for all. Why is it that you want to do it? Maybe you want to build $1 million business. But why? Why do you want to build $1 million business? Think about the reasons. If you are not able to find that clarity, think and try to think even more as to what could it be. Is it due to peer pressure? Is it just because a lot of people in the society believe that by building $1 million business, you will be considered successful? Is it just because you have grown up in poverty and you want to give a rich lifestyle to your kids? There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing right. But you should be very clear as to what you really want in life and why you want it. This why may be something that might not be necessarily even significant in other people's life. But if it matters to you, that is what you should stick by. And this why will subconsciously implant that goal in our mind so that we will continue working for it. I think I'd love to give this suggestion. There's a beautiful book written by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek has written a beautiful book. It's called Start with Why. If it's possible, I'd love for you to go through that book. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. It's a beautiful book. So the WWH framework, coming back to it, the first part was what, the second one was why, and lastly comes H. H for how. Okay, we have decided what we need to do. We have found a strong purpose, a strong motive as to why we need to do it. Now let us think about how we need to do it. And for this particular segment, just about how, people start from this step, which is entirely wrong. You need to be exactly clear as to what you precisely want. After that, you need to have a strong purpose that aligns you to that field. That is why. Once your what and why are clear, then we move on to the third and last aspect, which is the how to do it. Now how to do it is very simple. Whatever the task that you have written, whatever the goal that you have imagined for today, break it down into certain milestones. Let's take the example of okay, for the ease of understanding, let's take the example of passing the university exam. So the target is, I have to pass the university exam. Now break it down into milestones. Let's say my university exam is 4 months from now. So right now it is November, my university exam is in March beginning. So I have 4 months. Now break down my subjects into milestones, how I need to prepare. The entire preparation could be converted to milestones. This is called as micro planning. And I'm giving this example for the sake of simplicity so that you can appreciate and in turn use the same model for your business goal setting. So if I need to give an exam, write a university exam in 4 months time, I break my targets. Let's say I am studying 3 subjects. I'm studying zoology, I'm studying psychology, and I'm studying what? English literature. These 3 subjects. Now, just do a mental SWOT analysis. What is a SWOT analysis? An analysis of your strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. An analysis of your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So once I do a mental SWOT analysis, I can think, okay, zoology is very vast subject. It will need a lot of preparation. English literature is something that is vast, but I can do it. I can do it easily in less time. Psychology is my favorite subject, so anyway, I know it all. Now, based on this fact, based on this SWOT analysis that I have done within myself, I come to know of these insights about my own self, of course, related to my target. So how I will break this target is I will give maximum time to zoology, followed by English literature, and last or least time, least privilege to psychology. What this does is it will help me allocate my time and resources properly. Time and resources will be allocated in a way that can enhance my productivity. And what could be the milestones be like? It could be like first month, I will complete half the syllabus of zoology. Second month, I will complete the entire syllabus of zoology and start with English literature. Third month, I will complete English literature and do one revision of zoology. Fourth month, I will do a complete revision of all the three subjects. Of course, this is very simplistic, but it was done so with the purpose of making you understand how you can make your goal into a fun process. A big goal is chunked down, broken down into micro goals, and a deadline is associated with that. So if you see in this example that I've given you, I have used a 4 month window period. So I've broken it down into four parts, one for each month. You could do it for 10 days, you could do it for 15 days, you could do it for 1 week. No matter how you do it, the important thing is you break down your big goal into small, actionable, and achievable milestones and associate a deadline to each milestone. Now, write down in the chat box how many of you have gotten it all. If you have grasped this entire goal setting process that I've shared with you so far, write down in the chat box. And in case you are unmuted, please feel free to speak. I would love to hear from any one of you if you have grasped it all. You just have to write down in the chat box, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. A lot of yeses I'm hearing as well as seeing. Yes.
Thank
so,
you. Thank you, Cole.
What we are going to do is to do this particular exercise that, yes. Okay. So now that you are yes to life, yes to learning, what we'll do is take a 5 minutes break. In these 5 minutes, you just need to assimilate all your thoughts, channelize your energy in one particular direction, and do a goal setting process for any one of the target that you've chosen for your own self right now. After these 5 minutes, if any one of you volunteers, I will do a live course correction of whatever you've done. So what you have to do is pick up any target, preferably your business goal, break it down into milestones. It could be 4 milestones, it could be 10 milestones, it could be 7 milestones. Break it down into milestones. Milestones are what I call the micro goals. These micro goals are small but achievable and actionable steps. So one is they are achievable. The conscious mind doesn't get overwhelmed. Oh, how am I going to do this? How can I do this? How will I achieve this? So it needs to be achievable. That is the first condition. The second condition is that it should be actionable. It could not be an abstract thought, or it should not be something that is dependent on others. It should be in your control. That means you should have the authority and power to work upon that goal. So these are the only two conditions when you are setting milestones, and give it a proper deadline. So if I'm preparing for a university exam, I won't do the goal setting process 2 days before the university exam, because 2 days before a university exam, all you need to do is cram up. Just turn the pages and cram up as much as you can. There's no goal setting. You cannot try to dig a well when you are dying thirsty. Digging a well is when you are well fed, well nourished, and you have the means and time and resources at your hand. So it should be achievable, it should be actionable, and there should be a proper deadline that you associate with whatever the milestone that you've done. Right? So we'll meet here after 5 minutes, exactly after 5 minutes, and these 5 minutes are time for you to reflect, do a silent SWOT analysis within your own self, break down this goal that you've chosen for yourself into milestones and give them a deadline, a timeline associated to that. We'll meet after 5 minutes. I'm here only. Feel free to ask any questions in case you get stuck in the middle. Okay, Techno BE8 says me. I'd love for you to rename yourself, please. You can take your own time. And in the meanwhile, whoever has any query can please feel free to ask. Dinus, have you completed or you are having a query? If you have a query, please unmute yourself and you can ask it straight away. Maybe it will be helpful for other people as well. No worries, Techno. You can continue doing it. There's no hurry. In fact, just for the sake of sticking to the time limits is why I ensured to ask you, okay, you do it in 5 minutes or what. Otherwise, as much as you want, you can take that much amount of time. The slower you do it, the better the chances of it being thoughtfully correct. What I mean by thoughtfully correct is you will ensure that you do a proper SWOT analysis. You will ensure that there is proper thought behind whatever you're doing. You will ensure that you have found out your why. You've started with your purpose and not blatantly just because someone said something. Mukanyamba says, I can say something. Yes, please feel free to say that. I just want people to be on mute so that there's not much voice disturbance that is coming. Please feel free to ask. Very good.
So
Please
what
go
is
on.
it that I want to do? So I've picked food business.
Mhm.
And on this food business, because food business is wide, so I've just picked, like, maybe, for example, preparing snacks or providing for events. People have functions like weddings, parties, like birthday parties. And these are things which I've picked to say, what is it that I want to do? Food business. And in that food business, I should specify what I should do. Like, this is what I'm talking about. On this one, why do I want to do it? You know, as people, we eat every day. So I believe this business of food business, which I've chosen, I know if I start it or the way I'm in it, I know to say I can't go wrong because people eat every day. And since I've identified what I'm supposed to be doing, I know to say why I want to do is, number one is I want to be financially independent, make money.
Okay.
Then
Great.
also,
So I'd love to stop you right now here, and it is for everyone. This can be a great example. Now, I want other people to appreciate how Mukanyamba, I hope I'm pronouncing that name rightly, how
yes,
she has actually been very specific with what she wants to do. Now, she could have easily said, I just want to do food business. No, food business means what? So she was bang on target when she said, I want to provide snacks or some edibles for birthday parties and so on. So it is like a catering business. That is one aspect. So she has clearly defined her niche. This is something that we call as niche. So she has specialized or she has thought of specializing in one particular area. This is very important. You have to be very specific with what you want. You cannot say, I want to pass with good marks in exam. Arre, how many good marks? What is the definition of good mark? For someone who has passed with just passing marks all through his life, good marks means 2 marks more than the passing marks. For someone who has been a topper all throughout his life, someone who has scored 95% every time, for him, even 94% is bad marks. So you have to be very specific with what you want. So she was so on point when she said, I want to be in food business. All right. I want to provide snacks for birthday parties and all. This is very good. Next, why? Why does she want to do it? So in her head, she was very clear that human beings love to eat because after all, without eating, how will we survive? So she's entering into a business where there is no probability of the business dying out anytime in future, because as long as humanity is there, human beings will eat, and as long human beings eat, and provided Mokanyemba serves good quality food, our business will grow. So that why was coming from the right kind of thought process. And what was her why? She wants to do it because she wants to become rich. She wants to lead a rich lifestyle. She wants to make money, which is fine. Again, I said your why is not dependent on someone. You don't have to be a moral science teacher. You don't have to be a church pastor to say, oh, my child, this is not right, this is wrong, this is moral, immoral. No, you have to Just listen to what your head and heart says. That is the place where your why is born out of. So I really appreciate her for saying she wants to be rich, she wants to lead a rich lifestyle, she wants to be a money making machine, as she said. This is how clear you should be when you are deciding your why. And lastly, ma'am, I'll invite you back to discuss a little more about how you plan to do it. What is it that you have written down? Please share it with us. Ma'am, if you'd like to share it with us, it will be great. It will be a great example for everyone. It was great listening to you because with such clarity of thoughts, she was able to very precisely, to the point, give the answer to each question, which is great. Since she's not interested anymore, we'll maybe try to get her back on board anytime. Yeah, so this was it about goal setting. Very simple, but probably the most effective and the most powerful modality of goal setting to achieve success in a short way. There are elaborate ways to do it. Okay, madam is saying some network problem from her end. That's all right. So we really appreciate you for volunteering, and we really are glad to know that you were bang on point, bang on target with your what and your why. Now it's just about how. So if any one of you has any questions, any queries, please feel free to ask. If any one of you wants to volunteer to discuss his or her goal setting process, please, the stage is all yours. Unmute yourself, come on camera, and let's discuss. We are officially into the Q&A session now, the question and answers session. Any of you, Sarah, Dinus, Hopes, Rhoda, Michelle and Arabella, Monica, Mokayemba. Okay, Martha. Please, Martha, go on.
I want to make 100K, like $100,000, like in 2024. So that's my target, like my business.
You're very clear with what you want, but why you want it? Why is it that you want to make $100K?
To be helping people. Apart from, yes, like you have said, apart from helping others, also helping myself, living a nice lifestyle, like I said. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So how we'll do it is now we are sure that we want to do it through coaching and consultancy. Now, how we can do this? So one is coaching and consultancy one-on-one. Second is doing online events like the one that you are all a part of. Third is doing seminars in with live audience. So it could be in colleges, it could be in particularly management institutes in your country. It could be anything that creates your personal brand. So here, to earn $100K, you should not look or run after money. You should look to build a personal brand. So for income to increase, your influence first has to increase. Once there's a larger influence, automatically there will be a corresponding increase in the income. Now, the first thing, how I look at it is, my target for the first 15 days of the month would be to get very clear on my why, more clear on my why. Second, meet business coaches, not one, at least 2 or 3 different business coaches, and try to understand with them how I can do it, what I can do. The next 15 days, I will start focusing on creating content for social media based on whatever my niche is, based on whatever the domain that I am an expert of. So let's say I am a psychologist. So I will start creating content of psychology and see which content works best. So for some people, Reels will work. Some people, LinkedIn content will work. For some other people, long form YouTube videos will work. For some other, YouTube shorts will work. For some people, simple posts on Instagram, just one picture without even their photo will work. You mix and match all these kinds of content and post it regularly, 15 days, see which type of content works. Now, in the next month, the month of February, I'll post more of those contents which are working for me. And whatever I have discovered with the business coaches as a strategy, I will start implementing it. So this is my target for February. March, I will look to collaborate with people. A live on Instagram, maybe a session together, a seminar in some nearby school or college. maybe some offline event, which is a multi-speaker event, which I am organizing through my institution, which will increase my brand visibility. My influence will go up as a result of that. So this is my target for March. For April onwards, and this I'm doing predominantly because in India, our financial year starts from 1st of April. So I'm not really sure what the scene in Africa is, but because my country's financial year starts from 1st April, April onwards, I will focus more on the business activities going full on and just stick to the core competence area of my social media marketing. So for April, my target would be, let's say I do a free outreach program in colleges, in the university colleges across my district or across my state. So there I need to approach the schools, the colleges, the principals or the head of institutions to approach them and say, okay, hey, I'm doing this and this, and I need a platform on your school. I'm doing it absolutely for free. Again, this will increase my brand visibility. So again, I'm giving this example based on whatever little understanding of business that I have. And this is a very big target. Having $100K in a year is not a small thing. It's a very good target to have, but you need to, just like I have done, systematically break it down into achievable and actionable steps. Now you see, your goal is to earn $100K, but I have not talked about money at all in these first 4 months of goal setting. So first month, I'm only talking about learning. I'm only talking about getting clear on why. I'm only talking about finding out which kind of content on social media works best for you. This has nothing to do with money, right? But ultimately, all that we are going to do is building, is cumulatively and collectively building a ladder towards our desired goal. So you just need to reverse engineer the entire process and break it down into actionable and achievable steps. I think this helped, Martha. Your reaction of a lovely heart shows it all. Thank you
So
so much.
powerful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So with this being said, any other questions, any other queries, anyone else would love to have his or her goal setting rejigged or recalibrated, please feel free to do so. Michelle, Arabella, Rhoda, Mokanyemba, Hope, Dinus, Sarah, Fanny Busiku from Zambia. Right, any one of you. If not, I'd request everyone for once, please come on camera and let's have a group selfie. Yeah, there you are, Mokanyemba. That's a pretty lady. Hello.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Rhoda is there. Thank you so much. Others. Great.
Hi.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Oh, Fanny Pusiku, we lost you. Just a moment. Yes, there you are. A smiling face is always a beautiful face. Done. Thank you so much, beautiful ladies. It was wonderful to be with you. And it's almost midnight over here in India. So how was it, Rhoda? Please let me know. How did you find the session useful?
Oh yes, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your
Thank you.
training. We're learning a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so much for your kind words. Hope's writing, very useful. Thank you so much, Hope. It's
You're welcome.
unfortunate. So thank you so much. Sarah is writing, inspiring. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you to all you wonderful ladies for taking out time to invest on your personal development. Because as I started, it is based on this inner awareness that I need to do more. Because only once you do more, you will get more. It is not a lottery system that just by thinking you will achieve more. You need to do more to achieve more, and that is what matters. It doesn't matter how fast you reach there. What matters is you are in the right direction. So direction is what matters, and goal setting is precisely important for this reason, that it keeps us on track. It keeps us focused on whatever we need to do to achieve our goals. So with this being said, and assuming there are no more further questions, thank you so much for having me here with you tonight. And it's festive season in India. So Deepavali greetings from my and my family's side to all of you. Hope you have a cracker of a time ahead. Thank you so much. Good night.